All right, welcome to another episode of the Steve and Dan Show. Thanks for coming by and watching this. On this episode, we've got Cat Payen. Did I say that correctly?
You did.
So worried about that. I had it in my head wrong for so long that I'm always nervous about saying it. Anyway, I'm Steve. I get that wrong too. That's Dan. Hi, Dan. Real quick, a little history of me. If this is your first time watching, husband, father, entrepreneur. I've started and run several businesses over the years, and found this community not so long ago, and really realized it was a great way for me to get leverage and get out of a business that was good. It was good for my family, provided us a nice income and a certain level of success there, but I didn't have the freedom that I wanted. I really felt like the business was running me instead of me running my business. Kind of felt trapped by my clients, and that sort of thing. So I took the leap and made the transition to the digital world and found an amazing community here that has really made that transition possible. So that's kind of a little thumbnail of me. Dan, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Dan Holloway. And obviously for anyone that's watching this and has been following the Steve and Dan Show since episode 1, probably know who we both are already. But as Steve says, for anyone who doesn't, I joined from a background in corporate software sales and realised that I wasn't really getting fulfillment going down the path that I was going down. And I figured that no income goal in the past had ever really brought me, any sort of long-term sense of fulfillment. And I suddenly realised that all the income goals I had for the future, they therefore probably weren't going to bring me fulfillment either. So that's when I changed my path, changed the direction, ended up discovering SFM, getting involved in the community, and kind of fast forward to where we are today. So that's a brief overview of myself. And I think now we'd like to introduce Cat, who is our special guest. So Cat, if you'd like to give everyone a brief introduction of yourself, and then we'll dive into a little bit about how you discovered SFM and so on and so forth.
Yeah, hello. I'm Cat Payen then. I live in France. French originally, moved to England when I was very small, had an English education, so I consider myself of English culture anyway. I'm married, was married 27 years, going through divorce right now, 4 children, amazing children. They really do give a lot. I joined a while back with Jay when he was just with Carbon Copy Pro, and it really was just to get money. At the time, Google was just like plug in, make lots of money and leave. Just after I joined, the Google crash, as they all call it, happened. In fact, the algorithm changed and all these horrible websites and people making millions of others back sort of changed. Anyway, so that's how I came to the SFM. I really was in it just for the money at the minute. Although I wasn't happy there at all because it was sharks everywhere, and I'm not really a sharky person. So I'm more in the mindset type of game. And so when the SFM came along, it was really we had the community website, and that really changed everything for me anyway, as far as SFM goes. I'm 52, vegetarian, started a worldwide now vegetarian movement, and there was just a handful of us in Paris at the time. So I'm a great believer in that one person can start anything they want to.
Awesome. And that's one thing I'd just like to point out. Dan's in the UK, I'm in the US, Kat's in the Bordeaux region,
Yep.
right, in France. And, we've been able to become friends and work together and share ideas, even though we're all over the world. And that's part of what I was talking about earlier about leveraging the internet. I just love that we can have this kind of community. So, when you originally came to the SFM, you said it was purely about the money.
Yeah.
So what was your mindset? You and I have been connected with this for a while, and can you remember back then what your mindset was when you first came across? It was probably Jay, an ad, Jay or something. So you were looking for money, but were you looking to transition out of a job? Were you looking to supplement? Where were you at that point?
Great question. Where was I? I was in the middle of nowhere, actually, literally in the middle of the forest, in the middle of nowhere. And I was just surrounded by violence in the house, and I was looking for like a rayon of light, I guess, that I could just sort of beam me up, Scotty type. But of course, make money. I had to have money. I just failed an MLM business rather badly, and so I really did need to sort of put more cash in the kitty, as it were. So you could say I was putting oil on the fire. I don't know, but anyway. So when I found it, it really was like a I felt like, you know, we lived in the biggest pine forest in Western Europe. So I felt like, you know, it was like a little thing that was coming to get me out. So yeah, I hung on for dear life. So I've always sort of been in the mindset business. I've always sort of developed my mindset, and I can't not progress. I can't not learn. Always have a book in my hand, always reading. Always wanted to get, you know, that next bit of information. I'm a scientist by trade, I always say, because I've my degrees. But I don't want to be stuck in a laboratory. I knew that, but I just couldn't not study the atoms and the molecules and everything that goes on in the human brain and the body. That's something that really is always fascinated. Speaking fondly, I'm sorry, it's always been a passion of mine. And so, yeah, it would really like a rayon of light, but even more so because it was just the American time. And so they would have the webinars at 3 a.m. and stuff, you know, it was like so dark everywhere. There would be this little, you know, rayon of light coming out my little computer. It was, you know, it saved my life, literally, more ways than I can mention right now.
So when you say, saved your life, that's obviously, you know, pretty serious deal. So for somebody else that maybe was in a similar position to the position you were in, Cat, how would you elaborate on that a little bit? So what does saved your life mean to you?
Well, it literally did. I was going through Jay's blueprint that he's obviously perfected, and there was a sand in the line moment, a land in the sand moment, and it was, I can remember so vividly. I was sitting there working at den of night because that's the only time I could have any peace also. And it was just something, a really simple thing where you know your 10 best, or well, you're surrounded by the people you're surrounded by, their income and everything. And I just sat there and I was desperately trying to think of people that, you know, who were my friends. Because on this list of people, they weren't my friends. They were people I barely knew, but I was with them all the time. And they weren't really into growth. And, you know, one of them actually said laughingly in front of his little boy, oh, I've never read a book. And how, I got goosebumps just thinking about that because, well, your loss, obviously, not mine, but they were always making fun of me because of that, and how I was always, you know, I wanted to be a millionaire, not, millionaire for the money, but it was always because I wanted to be like Jay. You know, he was a lovely person, very kind and always giving, and all this is what I wanted to be. I didn't want to be the shouting bitch that I was, you know, that wasn't really me, that person, but that's who I was. So just by doing this simple exercise, it gave me the awareness of where I actually was. It was like, you know, that's the first step. It's like, holy moly, you know, this is my life. God damn, what am I doing? And from that moment on, it was even, well, the SFM was even richer because the community got together. So we had the community website, which we didn't have at Carbon Copy Pro.
Yeah.
So, you know, when I could reach out and help other people, and I noticed that within this circle of people who were all, you know, people that join, and they all come on, and you're all really happy when you get on, and, you know, and then shit hits fan because you do have certain demons you have to deal with to progress yourself. And so I could help these people because obviously I'd gone through a whole load of shit myself. So I could, you know, then with the little knowledge I had, just help these people. And the fact that I was able to help others made me realize, well, I'm not such a bad person after all if I'm helping, you know. And everyone would say, oh, but you're such a, you know, you're always bubbly and da-da-da, which is not the feedback I was getting at home, obviously, where I was just literally living under the table and just terrified to do anything. And so it was very diametrically opposite to what it was like Jekyll and Hyde. It really was. And there was no way I was going to give up that rayon, I keep saying rayon, I don't know why, but that ray of light that was like, it really was saving for me.
So it sounds like the community was a massive, massive part of that, being able to surround yourself with people who had that growth mindset instead of people who, like you said, had never read a book in their life, for example.
Yeah, it's completely. People don't realise how important it is to have that. It's like a safety net, and more initially it's a safety net, and then you help build the safety net. I can't describe the feeling it does, but it really did save my life. It really did. I don't know where I'd be right now.
Yeah, I think that power of being able to give back really helps the person who gives as much, if not more, than the person that receives. And I know, for me as well, that's been joyful.
Yeah.
It's been an important part of the experience, the community. I talk a lot about the community, and to me, it's very important. So, obviously, very important transitional point for you, Catherine, and you, the term that people use a lot is a wake-up call. So it sounds like you got a pretty big wake-up call in the woods there. And, and you were able to make a transition into this with the help of the community. What about, you're a mom of 4. That takes a lot of time. You've got all the responsibilities that go with that. As you said, you had another business that you were struggling with at the time. How did you fit in? How did you make the time or find the time to add something else into your life? And how do you do that now?
Okay. Well, how I did it then was, as I say, when you find something so powerful and it can really help you, and all I wanted to do was be told I was lovely, I was nice, I was kind, and so obviously as much time as I could put into the community, I did, because we do strive as human beings to have validation. It's not, I don't strive to be whatever, but I needed that right then. So as you say, I was giving a lot so I could get a little bit back. So anytime I could, and anytime I was with the community, I wasn't over there. I always say over there, but be it the kitchen, the bedroom, the bathroom, wherever, I would really take care of the kids as best I could. And I forget these things, but sometimes I'd ask the kids to come down with me in the kitchen because, I couldn't be on my own. I forget all this. They remind me now, but so when I wasn't in that, space, then of course I was in the, that's why I absolutely adore this community, everyone in it. And, and luckily for me, and being very selfish about this, they don't let anybody and everybody in. So, I have some protective wall as well. So it's all benefits for me. So that's any time I could give, I did. And you can always, listen to webinars and stuff. You can sort of record them and put them in the car when you're driving, because it was very, we took forever getting anywhere. There was nobody there. The roads are very straight and empty. So that was really nice. So you could really listen to stuff on the way. So I would catch up that way. And now everything's more or less automated. I got a couple of learning curves under my belt. I can do things, and I think it's more or less automated, and it is just such a brilliant system that they do it all for you. Back in the day we had to call people, we had to do all this. We literally don't have to do anything apart from place an ad right now, and that's it. I think you can find time to do that. I'm not saying placing an ad is easy. There are other constraints to that, but I mean, it is pretty easy as far as running a multi-billion-dollar business goes, which we're all capable of having, by the way.
Yeah, I think is that the contrast, isn't it, compared to what it takes to run a brick and mortar business and what it takes to successfully run an affiliate online business where you've got an entire, like you say, 8-figure company behind you that is running all of the, the follow-ups, the sales sides, the systems, the product, like everything except for placing the ad. And I think a lot of the time we kind of lose that perspective, don't we? Or some of us can. So, Kat, I mean, you've obviously gone through a huge amount of growth over the last few years. I think that's obvious just from talking to you and listening to you. So what bit of advice would you give to Kat from 5 years ago? If you could go back in time and meet Kat from 5 years ago, what bit of advice, or one bit of advice would you give knowing what you know now?
Well, forgive and be compassionate. Then maybe, you know, things would have changed. I don't know, but I think, you know, when you forgive, you just, you know, your power is back in your own court, if you like. You're not, you know, not wasting energy or time or whatever. And I think that's really important. It's a very important step. And then compassionate, well, you know, passion is just an amazing tool to have. You can be compassionate, you can get over a whole load of stuff that, you know, you may, you know, just little things like when you're queuing for something, you know, people are all around you moaning and moaning, and you're just, well, that poor woman's stealing the best she can, you know, she's got a whole load of people just smiling. If everyone could just smile and wait in line quietly and, you know, maybe sing a song or whatever it might be, have compassion for this poor woman, then, or man, sorry, who's, you know, doing whatever they're doing while everyone's waiting, then, you know, at a very small level, and that's why I'm, you know, compassionate. You can be in line. I mean, it doesn't have to be, you know, amazingly big. And I think maybe that would have helped me during my journey and made it faster or different, or, you know.
How do you reckon it would have helped? I mean, is there a specific situation that you think of that maybe that held you back from not being compassionate enough or forgiving enough?
No, I just think that, you know, living in fear all those years is of no use to anyone. And maybe, you know, at the beginning, as soon as it started, well, of course, as soon as it started, yes, I did leave. I had to go back for various reasons. But so when you go back, if you go back with a different mindset, maybe, then, you know, maybe it could have changed things or would have been a little bit more agreeable. My biggest regret is for the kids. My life is what it is, you know, but they're going to go on with that, their life. And the only thing I can do is I'm not going to go back and, you know, oh, I could have done, I should have done, whatever. That's as it is. The only thing I can do now is show them that, you know, there is better, there is, you know, whatever, and hope that they'll learn from that. But it does leave scars on everyone. So, yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I think that's a very important message. The compassion and, you know, doing the little things every day is what is really important. So for the people that are watching this that haven't been around the community as long, aren't as familiar with it, what advice would you give them, having the experience that you have? You know, what would you tell them to focus on, or how should they spend their time?
I would say spend as much time in the community as you can, because, for example, I would be working quite late at night and I had some trouble. We did have a little bit of coding to do back then, and I couldn't do this, or my photos weren't lining up. And I just plugged into the community and asked a question, and would there be anybody? And as it turned out, there was someone in Canada who was daylight for him. You know, he really helped me. And, you know, friendship starts, and like you were saying, you know, Steve, it just goes on and on. But the community is so important. We have naysayers all around us, our own families who don't really understand what we're doing. Maybe we're not in an understanding position. We just started. We know this is the light that's going to save us, but how? We know beam me up, Scotty doesn't really exist. So, you know, we have to just plug into the community as much as possible. Ask any question. There is no silly questions, no small question, no big question, no question or anything that's really on your mind should not be not said. As Jay was saying yesterday in the wake up call, and I thought, you know, that was so important, which is why I asked that question of you, Dan, before this started.
The 1% that makes a difference.
Yeah, the 1% that makes a difference. So just don't be afraid, because you've only got to gain.
Perfect. No, the community you're spot on. Is just one of the single biggest assets that we have, because like, and I think I mentioned this on one of our previous calls as well, but Jim Rohn, you know, says we become the average of the people that we surround ourselves with, and it is just so much harder to try and move in a certain direction, not just in this business but in any business. You know, if we're surrounded by people that are trying to pull us back often out of love, you know, they don't want us to go into this unknown scary territory that they don't understand, and they think that they're doing it to help us by pulling us back. But it's the community and having people that are already there that is going to pull you in that direction and help you to move forward. So I'm glad you mentioned that, Kat, because this is such a powerful thing. And I know you've come back to it, we come back to it. It's always, community is a theme that keeps reoccurring. And I think it's just because of the value of surrounding yourself with those kind of people. So from your point of view, I mean, over this journey, obviously, again, great progress. Good to see some of the transitions that you've gone through as well. Besides the community, is there anything else within SFM that you would say has been one of the maybe biggest helps or biggest assets that has helped you move forwards?
Oh yeah. Initially, like I said, we'd have to call the leads and the thing, and I mean, when learning as you go, and they decided that we were losing too many leads, potential really good, customers is not, really good customers, or really good people that could have gone on, and getting their help to do it is just a godsend, and it really is. It's a win-win for everyone, I think. That did sort of change my world immediately, because having to call the States was not cheap from before.
Yeah.
So that was one of my can I call, can I not, oh god, more budget and everything, I'd rather whatever. I don't have to do that anymore. I can't describe, it's just a really, everything they can automate, they do everything, they add up. I remember once Stu, in the beginning, he was saying how he was getting a new lead magnet or something. It was the very beginning, having new lead magnets. I was thinking, oh god, how much is this going to be on, how much am I? And he just said, no, and you won't have to pay for any of that. I believe that once you're in, you get everything that comes in as added bonuses, like the gold training we just acquired. I mean, zillions of dollars in that, and we just plug in, I mean, you could go on and on and on as to the benefits for me and for everyone else. But I think we do tend to forget how much work and energy does go into that, because we my ad doesn't work, and we just stop at that. And that really does sort of, not to say I don't do it, obviously. I mean, I'm the first one to sort of pull my hair out, obviously, etc., etc. But, you get up and move ahead. You can't just stop there.
That's a great point. And I hadn't really thought about that recently, about how nice it is to have somebody else doing the follow-up, because really it's just that much different than cold calling. And cold calling, Dan, I know you know this.
I know this.
Cold calling is the worst. And to it's just one step removed from it, barely. And it is really nice. And, professionals doing it, that's their job. That's what they do, So that is great to have. And that you're talking about the digital marketers training that they just added. Yeah. It's amazing amount of training. I love that stuff. So we've talked a lot about the past and growth and community, all of that stuff. Let's flip it, the future. So where do you see yourself? You pick a time, 1, 3, 5 years, whatever. Where do you see yourself in the future? And how different is that than, say, the Catherine of 5 years ago, how she would have seen herself 3 or 5 years in the future?
I have to say that I'm a great believer. I manifested this house that we're in. Okay, I really did manifest it, and I was going back and I was just looking at it. And from the minute I started saying out loud, because I was leaving, I decided to date and I was leaving, and I had it all planned in my head. And so I was drawing maps of these little houses that I wanted, and how it had to be. And of course I had to be la-di-da in public and everything. No one knew about this. So this was like, oh my God. And it was the National Fete holiday, and the kids going to school in Bordeaux. So were they going to go to boarding school, or what? Did I have a flat? And there's 600 people in the village, all loving to tear me to to shreds. It was just lovely. And I can remember they all came to me saying, "Oh, how's it going then?" And I just turned around and I said, "Oh yeah, I've got a flat." I had nothing. I just had to say it because I needed to put that wall in. And so that was the 14th of July, right, that year. And I was thinking, oh my God, and my deadline was the 8th of August. Anyway, 8th of August came and there was nothing, absolutely nothing. And you can imagine my whole world is crumbling. My whole plan is going to shreds. And it was the 1st of September. I was just leaving with the kids. And so on the 8th of August, anyway, we had a visionary call, and we were all on the call, you know, it was all whatever. And Stu suddenly says, "Is Cat on the line?" And I'm going, my world has ended. This was my deadline. So I'm in no fit state to do anything. And Stu sort of brings me out, calls me out, and starts saying all this wonderful stuff about me. And then Jay's going, "Oh yeah, Cat will see it through. It doesn't matter about the time." I can't remember what they were saying. They were asking me to speak, and I was in completely no man's land, you know, as I like to call it. I was really in a bad way, and I don't know what I was saying. But anyway, so I said this, but I thought, okay, I got some sort of recognition. I got something on that day. It wasn't what I wanted. And then the plan I had in my head, I had this dream, and it all changed. And I was going, no, you know, panic aboard. And I'd said to my husband, because we couldn't, anyway, I said, "Leave me the house 2 weeks." And then I had to find something, and it was like, and so while I was with kids in Bordeaux, they were at school, and I was desperately house hunting. I have no income to speak of, no papers. You know, the French are very much, I need 3 years of salary paid, and and I have nothing. And I remember one estate agent, she said, "Do you have income from your parents coming in?" I was like, "No." You know, so she just laughed at me. Anyway, all this was going down, and the last Friday at 1 o'clock, I had a meeting to meet this guy in his house, and the front door had to be blue. That's the only thing that never changed. And I got to this thing, and the door was blue, and I was like, "Oh." Anyway, so I got this house. So, and that was 2 months. It took me 2 months from the minute I said yes. So it took 4 months to manifest all this. So, although in my head I was doing this, but it wasn't really going to happen. But I had pulled that. I did pull that towards me, and I pulled it, and I pulled it, and I pulled it, and it's like, you know, my life depended on that, literally. So where I see myself now, unless I feel that unless I'm really calling it, I don't know. Now, right now, I am in a place where I have to leave this country. I have to. Oh God, it's live now. I have to leave this country. I say that no, because I've got the little one. I'm getting divorced, and he's can be hell. Anyway, I have to leave the country because the environment is really doing me not very much good. So I have this vision, and I have this thing, and I have to really pull it in. And that is a lot of work. Like, I sold the house in 3 months. In the middle of nowhere, people are still waiting years on to sell the house. They're like, "How do you do it?" And I'm like, "Well, I worked." So we had this discussion before, Dan, and I was like, yeah, I don't see why I shouldn't get paid for this kind of work, but I do. The reward is my house. The reward is the fact I was able to sell the house, you know. So yeah, the me in 1 year, well, definitely I see myself in another continent, literally, in a certain area. I'm finalizing the house. I know what sort of what job I'm going to have, and my affiliate business is going to be going great. And then in 5 years, I'm in India. I know that. I'm helping Indian women with some sort of stuff. That's for the A-Fest side of it. So that's where I'm at, really. So work hard up here, guys, because this is where it's at.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I love that. I love that. And that you hadn't told me about the part of India before.
No.
Yeah,
that's really cool. That's really cool. And now it's all out there.
Yeah, now it's out there.
Now it's all out there. So you will bring it. You will bring it. I know it. I know it. Great. Mr. Holloway?
Yes.
Do you have a question, or do you want to wrap it up?
I think, I mean, after that, obviously talking about, you know, manifestation and what Cat wants to achieve and moving forward, you know, that's such an important part of basically really getting in touch with what you want, getting in touch with what you want to, you know, create in life, because everybody obviously has very different paths. You know, everybody has different directions that are right for them and that they want to go down. And I think a lot of the time it's easy to kind of drift out of touch with that. And the fact, Cat, that you've already had this experience of manifesting your house now, and now you've got this future, you know, path that you're going down to manifest what happens next. I think that's the perfect place to really sort of put a bow on things there, because anyone that's watching, you know, if you can end on that idea that manifestation, knowing what you want, figuring out the path to get there, and then putting in the work to go down that path, that really, when you boil down success, or whatever you want to call it, kind of the, you know, it's kind of the backbone of everything that we do. Know what you want, figure out how you're going to get there and put in the work. It's pretty straightforward. So, Kat, just want to thank you so much for sharing with us, about your experiences and about your journey. I know for yourself, being in SFM for a very, very long time, and like you say, seeing that transition from somebody that joined 5 years ago, having to build an entire business essentially on their own, compared to today, having the entire SFM company behind you to do that. Sounds like from your experience that you're saying that for anyone that's thinking of joining now, they're joining at the right time, right?
Yeah.
I've kind of got the feeling from you there. So yeah, Kat, thank you so much. Steve, again, thank you very much for the time. Kat, any final thoughts for anybody that you'd want to mention?
Of course. I'd just like to say, oh, you can't see it, sorry. I have on my arm, I did this after the Platinum event. It's
yes.
Chinatown in New York. And it says, enjoy the journey.
Perfect.
That's great.
Better than that.
That's great. All right. Thanks again, Catherine, Dan. Thanks for joining us today. To everybody watching, appreciate it. And we'll see you again next week with another guest. Have a great day.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.